So today we finally got the intro cutscene to Classified, and it's really been a long time coming, and I say that like Treyarch actually released it to us. That's actually not what happened. We had to wait till the game actually launched in New Zealand, but unfortunately I'm still waiting on the US release. Quite depressing, but regardless, we had to wait for the actual game to launch, and that's how we finally got this intro cutscene. But of course, for what this video is, it's actually going to be my explanation for everything that's going on inside this intro cutscene, and this is a little bit more difficult than I originally thought it was going to be, because there's no dialogue, there's just images that are really colorful, and you just have to figure out what's going on from there. And then on top of that, I had to go to the just really old Black Ops 1 storyline stuff to figure out what's going on, to make sure the dates are correct and all that stuff, and it was longer than I thought to make. But regardless, this is going to be my explanation for what's going on inside this intro cutscene to Classified. So also I want to mention this real quick: if you guys do want to actually check out my reaction and first impressions of this intro cutscene, I actually made that video right before this one, so if you guys are interested in it, then I'll be on screen right now. But anyways, with all that said, let's actually jump into this explanation. At the start of this intro, we see that Ultimis are still in Shangri-La, but they have already completed what they went there to do, which is of course acquire the focusing stone. And of course we know this because Richtofen is holding the focusing stone in his hands. But since Ultimis have already acquired the focusing stone, they're on their way out, and how they leave is by using a teleporter, which by the way, we did not know a teleporter existed inside Shangri-La until now. But regardless, unfortunately for them, while teleporting, Dempsey fires a shrink ray, or whatever it's called, and causes the teleporter to malfunction, which is the same thing that happened to Ultimis when they were teleporting from Deriza to Kino, except that time it was with the DG2. And because of this, instead of teleporting to the moon, which is where we were assuming they were originally planning to go, they are instead teleported through space and time to the Pentagon in 1963, which by the way is the exact same year that 5 takes place. Samantha, who is still inside the MPD at this time, and by the way still wanting to kill Richtofen, of course sees this and looks for a way to kill Ultimis while they're at the Pentagon. And she decides to use Yuri, who she has already been manipulating for a while. And she tells Yuri to use the Gersh device to both kill Gersh and teleport through this. Yuri of course does so and is teleported to the Pentagon, and obeying Samantha, he frees the zombies that the Pentagon had created using Group 935 scientists from Operation Paperclip. And of course, now that the zombies are free and Samantha also has control of the zombies at this point in time, she uses the zombies to try to kill Ultimis. Now that is pretty much the gist of everything that's going on in this intro, but there's a couple other things I want to point out that I find are quite interesting, and one of those is, this actually explains to us why 5 even took place in the first place, because we just wondered, why would Samantha send zombies to go attack the president, or the former president, the bodyguard, and Fidel Castro? Why would she do that? Well, it's not because they were ever the target. They were never the target, because unfortunately for them, it's just that Ultimis unfortunately actually teleported to the Pentagon, and she tried to kill Ultimis, but of course since they were also at the Pentagon, they were also attacked by zombies, which is something I find quite interesting if this is exactly what is happening, if they're happening on the exact same day. Maybe what Ultimis is doing and what the 5 characters are doing are happening at the same time in different parts of the Pentagon, or maybe what's happening with Ultimis happened right before what happened with 5, because you have to imagine that the zombies wouldn't get to the president very easily, because, I mean, he's supposed to be highly guarded. But another major question this intro leaves me just wondering is if Samantha can see through time when she's in the MPD. And the reason I say this is because we do know that Samantha used Yuri to go attack the Pentagon, and of course that being Ultimis, but how did she know to manipulate him beforehand? Because if you guys remember back in Ascension, she was manipulating and messing with Yuri for a long time. It's not like she just one day just saw Ultimis appear in the Pentagon and then said, hey, Yuri, go attack them, and he just listened immediately. But instead, what actually happened is that she was manipulating him beforehand. So she must have known that she had a use for Yuri, and of course it was that she was going to use him in the future when, of course, Ultimis teleport to the Pentagon. But unless she doesn't see through time while she's in the MPT, there's no way she would have known of that I'm at least aware of. And this brings up so many questions if that is the case. If Samantha could see through time while she's in the MPD, that means she had to be aware of Richtofen's grand scheme and so many other things that happened while she was in the MPD, and it seems like if you had the ability, you should have been able to stop it. But regardless, it is something that it really makes me question. But maybe there's something I'm missing here and she can't actually see through time, but to have all these preparations ready really makes me question what's exactly going on here. But of course, that's all I can really say about this. But there's a couple other things I want to point out that I find are quite interesting, and one of those is that everything that's going on here is pre-Moon. This is all happening before Moon ever happened, so it really makes me question if that's going to have some sort of effect on something that we're unaware of or not. The other thing that I want to mention is that also inside this intro cutscene, we also get an explanation for why we see Richtofen's portrait inside the Pentagon, and it's because he put it up himself. Absolute genius, Treyarch. And the other thing is that we do see that Samantha tells Yuri to go somewhere and he teleports somewhere else that isn't classified, or at least that looks like what's implied. So where did she tell Yuri to go? I mean, of course we know that he actually went after the president and all those people, but why exactly is that the case? And the other question that I'm left just thinking about is who is the guy in the lab coat that we just see working on something while Ultimis is fighting zombies in the background? These are all very interesting questions, and anyways, that's all I have to say about this intro cutscene. Tell me what you guys are thinking of it. Did you guys like the intro cutscene? You guys excited for Classified and the story that it's going to be telling? Because I know for sure I am. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about this, because I just cannot wait till Classified and I get my hands on it and figure out the story of the map also. But of course, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm going to go and I'll catch you guys on my next stream or video.